It's definitely an inconvenient and expensive hobby. I just love it, really. I'm Saoirse. I'm an Irish DJ, producer and event curator from Dublin, but I live in London. I started collecting records when I was 14. I think the first records that I bought were a Hard House record by Paul Glasby and Nelly Hot in Here, which was a strange combination, and I remember trying to mix them together for about 3 months before I was told like hip hop doesn't go with Hard House. So yeah. I think like a lot of people have said that a lot of my music is a bit like, there's always like a bit of a weird, creepy, and then like kind of funny, playful moment on the dance floor or whatever, and it really jumps around a lot. Like I think it's kind of a bit unpredictable. I buy a lot of new records. I would say I try and buy as many kind of new ones as I can from particular distributors. I always find their curation really good. This is a new one that I got. It's one of these records where if I really want a moody set, like a really moody tone, I'll play this. It's kind of a bit weird, a bit creepy, and I play a lot of that kind of like emo, techno and house stuff. That's a little bit like melancholic and creepy, basically. When I was working in Abbey Discs, there was a kind of term called a Dublin Classic, and it had a particular sound. It was like old, like kind of classics from the 90s and stuff, but it just had this sound, and like people in Dublin would call it classics. It's like a little bit hardcore rave, but then also like 4/4 beat, like techno and quite playful as well. I tend to play this when it's like you want a big moment. It's definitely kind of more of a big room tune, but it's one of those ones that definitely gets the hands in the air, and it reminds me a lot of these kind of Dublin raves from back in the day. I will always do my research on what the venue is like, what the crowd is like, you know, that will really impact the types of records that I'm putting in my bag. If I know that it's like intimate, low ceilings, kind of, you know, heads down, headsy vibe, I'll pack a much deeper journey records. Starter tracks, so something to start my set with. I will be looking for something that like feels really, it's a moment, like you're trying to open your set, you're trying to catch people's attention. And this one is definitely one that I do that with. I think it's really beautiful, kind of has a kind of 90s techno Italian feel to it. I think this is a perfect example of something that I'm drawn to. That's a really special record to me, and I always feel like it grabs people in. There's obviously a community of people who really love seeing DJs play vinyl, and they really respect that. But I think, to be fair, once the music's good, people don't really care too much. There's this one, which I love showing to people in the crowd when I'm playing it. Always gets a nice reaction, but this is like a really amazing trance record that I like to finish with. It's like 150 BPM or something, but it's like really, I would say, like classy trance. I still play records now because the physical aspect of it is like, I find it more fun. It's definitely more challenging, but that actually like gives a bit more fulfillment, I think. Sometimes when I'm like DJing and you lock 2 tunes in digitally, like what now? I'm just kind of standing there, you know? Whereas with records, you're kind of like always doing something.
That ass looks well.
This, for instance, is like an old dance mania. I will often like loop and layer this kind of stuff with house and techno, whatever, and it's got that really nice skippiness to it. Collecting records is a really like probably the most important thing to me in my life, and it's something that you really fall in love with over and over. Like a lot of records in my collection that maybe I forgot about or whatever. So it's something that you'll kind of be attached to for life. It's kind of expensive, you need a lot of space, and it's not the most convenient, but you will love it if you do love vinyl.